What happens when you transfer old Pokemon into Sword and Shield? Hi, I'm Mike, PokeTips Mike, and finally, Pokemon Home is here. And one of the main features of Pokemon Home is the transfer feature, which lets us bring our old Pokemon from Pokemon Bank all the way up to the newest Pokemon games. And at this point, there have been quite a lot of Pokemon games. We're on our 8th generation of Pokemon, and since almost all the generations of Pokemon are compatible with each other, you're able to get Pokemon from really old games like Ruby and Sapphire, Pokemon Colosseum and XD, and even the virtual console copies of Pokemon Red and Blue, all the way up to Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I've assembled a little collection of older Pokemon, from Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, all the way up to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I'm going to transfer all of those Pokemon into Pokemon Home, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield. So without further ado, let's see what happens when we bring them up to the newest games. Alright my friends, so we've successfully transferred all of these Pokemon here over to my Pokemon Sword version. Now on the screen right now, I'm going to quickly go through all of them and show you what the metadata is like for the Pokemon. They basically all say something to the effect of, it seems to have traveled all the way across space and time to join me from whatever region they were originally from. Now in addition to that, most Pokemon games also give the transferred Pokemon a special icon. So for example, Pokemon from Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, they all get a special Game Boy icon. Pokemon from X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire get a special little pentagon. Pokemon from Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon get a clover. Pokemon you transfer from Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee all get a Pikachu icon, which is kind of weird. You would think that they would split it into like Pikachu version having Pikachu icon and Eevee version having an Eevee icon. And finally, last but not least, Pokemon from Pokemon Go all get a special little G icon. This stuff definitely helps set these Pokemon apart from other ones because you could really see where they came from. And out of all these Pokemon, the one I found the most interesting was actually Snorlax from my Pokemon XD version. So as I'm sure you probably already know, in Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD, the majority of the Pokemon that you can obtain are actually originally Shadow Pokemon that you need to catch from another trainer. Then your whole goal is to purify them and like set them free. After you purify the Pokemon, they all get the National Ribbon, which in-game says it's a ribbon awarded for overcoming all difficult challenges. Now Sword and Shield actually added a really cool feature where if your Pokemon has a ribbon, you could actually equip it to the Pokemon, and when you send it out in battle, it'll have a special title. The title you get for having this national ribbon is the Triumphant. So when I send out this Snorlax in battle, it'll say Snorlax the Triumphant or XD the Triumphant, since that's what I nicknamed it. My Primarina from Ultra Moon version actually had the Alola Champion ribbon, so when I send that one out, it says Ultra Moon the Alola Champion. So if you're transferring a Pokemon up that you're planning on using a lot, I would definitely recommend going out and getting some cool ribbons, giving it to the Pokemon, and then transferring it so when you use it in Sword and Shield, they get all these crazy cool titles. So now I want to test some of the weird stuff. So if you've been watching all my Sword and Shield videos, then you definitely know this by now, but Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield actually removed a lot of older moves. So this Goomy here that I transferred over from my X version, it knows the move Bubble. And even though it still shows that it's a water-type move, has all the PP, shows it's a special attacking move, and has the power and everything, you can't use it at all in Sword and Shield. It says this move can't be used, it's recommended that this move is forgotten. Once forgotten, this move can't be remembered. But it's the only move my Goomy knows. So we're gonna go in battle and test out this Goomy and see what happens when we send this Goomy out in battle when the only move it knows is a move that was deleted. This should be pretty cool. We'll fight something weak so we don't get one-shotted by it immediately. This Squovet should be just fine, and we'll send out X the Goomy. Alright, so when we press fight, let's see. Oh wow, I think it's just gonna instantly make me use Struggle. If we survive. Yeah, we're gonna survive. That is so silly! So if you set things up properly before you transfer a Pokemon over into Sword and Shield, you can make it so when you transfer the Pokemon over, the only move that it'll be able to use is Struggle. I really don't understand why they removed these moves and made them unusable, because it still has all the data for them. It shows that it's a special attacking move, it shows the power, it shows the accuracy. In battle, it shows the type matchup. It let me know that the move was effective against the Squovet, even though it was unusable. So I'm not really mad about these Pokemon losing the moves, because a lot of them were redundant anyway, besides stuff like Hidden Power and Pursuit. But I mean, if you're gonna remove the move, you gotta go all the way. You can't leave like 90% of the data in the game and then just say it's unusable. That's a little weird. Now for our next little experiment, we're going to be jumping back into my Pokemon Let's Go Eevee version. Now Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee had a very interesting mechanic called Candy. Basically, by giving your Pokemon candy, you could raise its stats all the way up to gaining an additional 200 in all of your stats. And you could do that at basically any level, so that could result in you getting low-leveled Pokemon like this level 5 Nidoran with stats of a level 100 Pokemon. And for fully evolved Pokemon like this Charizard, which usually has some pretty good stats already, well, you could get some pretty crazy things like this, like Charizard having almost 500 HP, 459 points in special attack. It's insane. So I want to see what happens when I try to transfer this candied AV trained Charizard into my Pokemon Sword version. Now I know there's absolutely no way these stats are going to show up in-game, but I want to see what happens anyway. I'm also going to be transferring over this other Charizard, which has the same IVs and nature as the Super Charizard here, except it's not AV trained, so we'll be able to directly compare the two. So let's jump into Pokemon Home, transfer these Pokemon into the box, and it's interesting, it still shows those crazy stats even in Pokemon Home. Alright, let's go ahead and save them into my home box, and let's try to withdraw them into my Pokemon Sword version. And unfortunately, just like I thought, it looks like those stats are not going to get transferred over into Sword and Shield. Taking a look at the Charizards here, they look exactly the same, identical stat-wise, even though we know this one right here was AV trained and had insane stats all around, and this one didn't have any AVs at all. Even this poor little Nidoran, which can't be transferred into Sword and Shield anyway, its stats show up just like a regular level 5 Nidoran would. But what's interesting is when I try going back into Pokemon Bank with my Let's Go Eevee save file, it still shows those crazy AV trained stats. So it's looking like to me that Pokemon Home doesn't erase those stats, but when I try transferring them into Sword and Shield, it just doesn't use them. And yes, here they are in Sword and Shield, both of my Charizards, and they have the exact same stats. I definitely don't think anybody actually expected these stats to transfer over to Sword and Shield because that would be insanely broken, but it is kind of sad to see them go. For our next test, we're going to see if Totem Pokemon retain their size in Sword and Shield. Back in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and in the Ultra games as well, a special type of Pokemon was introduced called a Totem Pokemon, which is basically just a larger version of a Pokemon that generally served as bosses throughout the game. In Ultra Sun and Moon, there was actually a pretty cool side quest where you could collect totem stickers all over the Alola region, take them to a guy called Samson Oak, who is Professor Oak's cousin, and after collecting a certain amount of stickers, he would give you some special totem Pokemon. So right here in my Ultra Moon game, I have a regular Salazzle, and when we go down, I have a Totem Salazzle. And as you can see, when I jump between the two, there's definitely a size difference there. One is a lot bigger than the other one. I'm actually very curious to see if this is going to get retained in Sword and Shield. I kind of think Pokemon might have forgot about this one. Let's find out and see though. Okay, here are my Salazzles. They successfully transferred over to Pokemon Home, and this one doesn't know a lot of its moves. I didn't know they removed Double Slap. That's another one of those iconic moves. I just don't know why they got rid of Double Slap. Alright, whatever. Nerd rage over. Let me transfer them over to my Sword version. And now inside of the boxes, let's see. Ooh, this is not a good sign. In the menu, they look exactly the same sized. Wait, this one looks pretty big, and this one also looks pretty big. Alright, that's not helping. In the Pokédex, I'm not seeing anything for an alternate form, so there might not be Totem Pokemon in this game. And even in Pokemon Camp, they both look exactly the same, so that's unfortunate. There was a whole special little side quest in Ultra Sun and Moon to get these Totem-sized Pokemon, and in the future games, they just don't really exist. They look exactly the same as the regular ones. I'm actually kind of surprised here, because you would think with like the big theme of this generation being size with Dynamax and Gigantamax, they'd at least bring over Totem-sized Pokemon as well. Finally, last but not least, we're going to test out and see if there are any special events that you can activate by bringing over some old Pokemon. In some of the more recent Pokemon games, like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and even Sun and Moon, there's some pretty cool events and Easter eggs that you can unlock for bringing some old Pokemon over. Like for example, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, if you talk to Morimoto with a Pokemon from a Game Boy game in your party, he'll give you some special dialogue. However, unfortunately, in Sword and Shield, he doesn't have any special dialogue if you bring any of the older Pokemon to him. He only talks about battling you. There's even a lady in-game who makes a reference to playing Pokemon Go, but when you bring a Pokemon you caught in Go, she doesn't say anything special either. The only real special event that you'll be unlocking is if you have the Pokemon Necrozma and Kyurem. When you have these Pokemon, you could go to the Stow-on-Side Market and talk to this man right here, and he'll say, I dug up some mysterious items, but I've got no clue how they work. Maybe you could find some use for them, kid. Why don't you take them? And if you have Necrozma, he'll give you the N Solarizer and N Lunarizer. And if you have Kyurem, he'll say the exact same thing, but instead he'll give you the DNA Splicers. Now these are actually some pretty cool items that you could use to fuse certain legendary Pokemon together. The N Solarizer allows you to fuse Necrozma and Solgaleo together to get Duskmane Necrozma, which I honestly have to say looks so cool. I love this design. And you could also use the same item to split them apart. The Lunarizer can be used to fuse Necrozma and Lunala together, and then you'll get Dawnwing's Necrozma, which again is a pretty cool Pokemon, but I do like the other one a little better. And the DNA Splicers are basically the same exact thing, except you use them on Kyurem, and you can use them to fuse Kyurem together with either Zekrom or Reshiram. Kyurem and Zekrom give you Black Kyurem, which looks kinda, I don't know, creepy, and Kyurem and Reshiram fuse together to form White Kyurem, which again, I'm not really a big fan of either. And that's about it there for special events. Now, these aren't even going to be special events forever. I believe the DLC coming out soon for Sword and Shield will let us catch these Pokemon in-game again, but for right now, this is an event you could only unlock by having these Pokemon, which somebody needs to transfer over from an older game to actually use. Solgaleo, what are you doing back there? These guys are actually pretty cool in Pokemon Camp. I might hang out here a little bit and play with them. So my friends, that is what happens when you transfer old Pokemon into Sword and Shield. I'm pretty sure I got everything. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments section below. And my friends, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more awesome Pokemon content. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.